Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of KigerCraft. I'm Tigorso, and I'm here with Giran, and been doing a little bit of work on the keep here. I've got temporary iron doors installed so that nothing gets in, and I've got the wood planks that go all the way up here, and I got this nice lighted feature at the top because I wanted it to be kind of I had it flat at first, and I thought it looked a little bit too much just like a wooden wall. So I wanted to make it a little bit more pointy. And I actually think I'm going to bring this down probably about halfway, more like right here or so. But I put a bunch of stairs up there, and it made this kind of cool lighting effect. So I actually kind of like it. We actually recorded this episode already, but it was all corrupted. So I'm going to show you what I did in the last episode. Wow. Okay. We removed all the dirt from here, and we removed some of the stone, and we filled in some of the places. I still have a couple places left to go, but we filled in most of it with bricks and kind of tried to light it up. We're still thinking about what we're going to do for a lighting situation. I'm leaning towards redstone lamps and putting them on some sort of day-night timer. We found a couple cool ones recently, so we're still thinking about that. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to build a village. This area right here is perfect for sort of like a courtyard keep place to have like a bunch of villagers and well, mainly a bunch of villagers, but they could be like the castle keep staff. They could be like the maids and the butlers and all that stuff, because you know the whole idea is that this is a castle. So we're gonna move this. Kieran's playing with redstone, and we're going to remove a whole bunch of this stuff, and we're going to build in some villager hovels so that we can eventually get some villagers out here. But there is a bunch of cool stuff that I wanted to talk about today. I've been seeing a lot of really cool things in the news, and I wanted to share some of that with you guys. For instance, the VR headset, the Oculus, is doing really well. They just finished out their... Well, I don't have any cobblestone on me. Do you have any cobblestone? Thank you. They just finished their Kickstarter round of funding with $8.5 million. That's right. They got people to pledge $8.5 million. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. Not the VR headset. That's the Ouya. The Ouya just completed its first round of Kickstarter funding, and they raised $8.5 million. And they are apparently getting ready to take, or already are, taking pre-orders on it. So for $109, you can get your own. I probably will not be getting one. While it's a cool concept and I like it, I'm not really sure it's viable. And by that, I mean it's open source. It runs on Android, which is kind of known to be a system that gets a lot of piracy. They have a lot of piracy problems because you pretty much just download an APK and you can install it without any headaches or anything like that. So I think that alone is going to scare a lot of the developers that would potentially develop games for it away. But on the other hand, that's being that it's open source and it's Android, that's actually one of its strengths as well. Because when people get a hold of it, they're going to be hacking that thing and they're going to do some really cool stuff with it. So it's kind of like a catch-22. Oh, come on. Won't let me get it. Anyways. So we'll have to see. I'm not going to fork over $100 that I don't have just quite yet. So I will be definitely watching with great interest. But another thing I did want to talk about is the VR headset, and kind of got the two mixed up. But there is actually a video that I saw quite a long time ago that I was able to find again that I wanted to share with you guys, because the whole idea, me and Garen have been talking about it a lot lately, and the whole idea of having a nice virtual reality or augmented reality even headset that's affordable and actually works is really something exciting, because virtual reality is something that's been flirted around with for for a very long time, since like the 80s, and it never really worked. The technology was never there, it was never powerful enough. But now it seems like it's actually feasible, and the Oculus seems like a really good idea, and I really, really hope it's as good as they say they are. But that just goes hand in hand with what Google's doing with their Google Glass concept. And in the video that I'm gonna link, there is it's kind of like a futuristic idea of what a augmented reality future would look like, and I think it's really awesome, minus all the ads and everything. But having one of the things I've always wished for was that I had a Control F in real life, like where I could find something that I've lost. I could be like, where are my keys? And it'll give me a little blue line that'll lead me directly to my keys, saving me tons of time and effort looking around for those darn things, because I lose them all the time. But that's something that I'm really excited about, so we'll see how that goes. I have high hopes, because after the disappointment that was the Kinect, I think I still believe in the whole kind of the concept that the Kinect represented. That whole taking everything to the next level of real world control and everything like that. Because I'm a huge fan of mech games, and one of my favorite games for the one of the favorite games I never had for the Xbox was the Steel Battalion. I wanted it so much. I actually had a chance to get one, but I ended up not doing it, and I still regret it to this day. What the? Crazy bear. And when I heard that the Steel Battalion was coming out with the Kinect, I was like, "Oh, please, please, please be good!" I actually would have gone out and bought a Kinect if that game would have been any good. And then the reviews started coming in, and everybody said it was crap, so I was really disappointed. But I'm still waiting. I still have hopes that somebody will be able to come up with a decent way of doing it, and it'll rock. So that's something I really look forward to. But in space news, the NASA has developed, or is working on developing, a thing called the Morpheus lander. It's supposed to be a multi-use, or multi-purpose rather, lander for taking moon missions. And there's been a couple. It's still in the early testing phases, I guess. And one of their tests that they did earlier ended in a spectacular failure. And with all the talk recently of the Mars Space Laboratory, sending it there to the Mars, it just reminds us that nothing is ever perfect. And I'll link you guys the video, and you really should watch it, because it's just spectacular how this thing failed. And they did a couple tests, preliminary tests, and everything worked out fine when it was tethered to a giant crane. So they figured that they'd let it out on its own, and oh boy, it's interesting. So if you have the time, I suggest you go watch it, because it's awesome. But in security news, there's a new state-sponsored virus going around that's been infecting computers in Iran, which is based off of the Stuxnet virus. If you don't know what the Stuxnet virus was, it was a virus that was supposedly developed by the U.S. and Israeli governments to infect the computer systems that ran the centrifuges in Iran's nuclear. Iran's nuclear facilities. And what happens is when you're enriching uranium, you have a thing called a centrifuge that's used to separate and refine the uranium into higher grade and even plutonium. So what the Stuxnet virus did was it caused the computer control systems that monitor how fast the centrifuges spin, because it's very delicate equipment, and it started producing false results. The systems told the engineers that, everything's fine, no trouble, and really the centrifuges were spinning out of control and destroying themselves. So I guess there is a new one out that's doing something similar. And it's really interesting because this one has a highly encrypted payload that is, I guess, going to deliver at some point, but nobody knows what it is because it's highly encrypted. So there was actually a computer virus. I can't remember what it was called that did that infected a bunch of systems a while ago. It was more of a consumer grade virus, but it had an encrypted payload as well, and people knew that this thing was going to go off, but they didn't know what it was going to do. It turned out to be completely harmless, or was some sort of like spam or something like that, but for a long time there were people who were like, oh crap, this is going to be bad, and then it turned out to be nothing. But who knows what this one is going to do. So oops, didn't mean to break through that wall. Get me some cobblestone. Get out of here. Oh wait, I don't need these flowers. Who needs flowers? There we go. So 1, 2, 3. So these in order for the villagers to live in here, it's got to be at least 3x3. I'm doing 4x4 just to make sure that they have enough space, so I can put maybe like a chair or something in here, and they won't be like, oh, it's not a house anymore. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put this one here. Oops, didn't want to do that. Yeah. And also, if you have a BattleNet account, you are going to want to change your password. Blizzard just announced that there was an internal security breach at their headquarters, and a bunch of consumer information was compromised. Security recovery questions, I guess, and a lot of other stuff. So you're definitely going to want to change your password. That's what they're recommending. And also, if any of you use the mobile authenticator, for something like Android or iOS or something like that, you're going to want to update that too, because they need to get new hashes out for the encryption. And I've done this one a little too big, but yeah, you got to update that. They're putting out an update, so definitely scary. They say that no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this looks like it's going to be the last one. They say that no account information that's very important, like credit cards, addresses, or anything like that, was compromised. But with these things, it's really hard to tell. initially what was and what was not compromised. So it's definitely a good idea that you keep an eye on your transactions and make sure that you're not seeing any suspicious activity, because they might come out in a month and say, oh yeah, by the way, the credit card database was stolen and was decrypted. So they said that, let me go put this disk. We got a disk from our creeper the other day, so they said that the passwords that were stolen were encrypted, so the likelihood that people will be able to get your passwords is low, but anything given any sort of time can be cracked, so you definitely want to change your password. And then it also turns out that there is there we go, security vulnerability with Skype that allows people to get your IP address. And I've been seeing a lot of people who stream on Twitch saying that they've been suffering from DDoSs. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, that would be really interesting if they were suffering from a DDoS, because... Oh, you're gonna remove that. Because, you know, you have to have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go right here. You have to have an IP address in order to perform a denial of service, which is what a DDoS is. Stands for distributed denial of service. And pretty much what that is when you flood a computer with a lot of information. The most common one, I guess, is to request the time over and over and over again. That causes the computer to slow down because it takes time to process those requests. And if there are too many requests, the computer can slow down and effectively cut you off. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's go back one more. So I was thinking that it was more of a DDoS against Twitch, depending on how they have their servers and everything set up. But it turns out that there was a vulnerability in Skype that it was allowing people to grab your IP address, and they would be able to DDoS you personally. Apparently, there's this group. It's called War on Twitch or something like that, who are doing this to pretty much troll people. So hopefully Microsoft will realize that this vulnerability is out there and they'll get it patched quickly, but there's no guarantee about that. But if you do have a router or firewall, I would definitely recommend going into the settings and trying to see if there's a security panel. If there is, disabling ICMP transfer data, which is the Internet Management Content Protocol. I think that's what it stands for. But that's one of the main ways that DDoSs occur. So if you block that protocol, that can stop a lot of DDoS activity. So just a quick tip, so you can check it out, see if you guys can actually do that. I know my router has that, but not everyone does. So just some easy security tips for everybody. All right, looking good. So now we just need some wood. Actually, I have wood. I got a whole bunch of other junk too. Let's make a chest. There we go. Let's plop that down. Get rid of all this junk. Do you have any wood on you? Aha! Very nice, thank you. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll take that. Oh, I got some wood on me too. There we go, just gonna make a bunch of doors here. And then... Ah, you did. Let's see if that's going to be enough. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, that looks like it's going to be enough. So we got 7 doors, and it's what? 3 villagers per door? Something like that? I think the conversion? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, not really all that important. All right, looking good. All right, so pretty much gonna try and spruce up these a little bit. We're gonna have to find a village to get some villagers over here. And I think since this geode here with a pool, or with this geode here with water, we're gonna turn this into like a little villager pool. I think that would be kind of neat. And then light this place up. And that should do it for us. All right, there we go. Now all we gotta do is get some villagers. So, thank you guys again for joining us for another episode. Remember to like and leave us comments about what you guys think. So, we will see you guys next time. Take care.